Thank you for that warm, loving, not sure about the rest of the words, introduction there, Steve. Hey, everybody, I'm an alcoholic named Reggie.
Hey, Reggie.
Some of y'all might can identify with this, too. I'm also a selfish, self-centered, egotistical, arrogant, SOB, stone cold sober. Just because you put the bottle down don't mean that all the defects fall off to the wayside. I'm supposed to get up here and tell you, I hear people say, I'm going to tell you what it was like, what happened, and what it's like today. It ain't changed, folks. If it would have changed when I got here, there wouldn't be no newcomers come in behind me. I'm going to try to tell you what I was like, the parts of it I can remember. Some of it may be a lie. I don't know. Somebody in here might can tell it a little bit different. If anybody's heard my story before, you're welcome to go ahead and go home and watch something on TV. And if you hadn't heard it and you want to leave, no hard feelings at all there. We think we want to be the center of attention till you get up here in front of this podium. We want to be the star of the show when we're out there running it and acting a fool, going to jail, doing the things that we do that we call fun. Losing jobs, broken homes. My first sobriety date was October the 13th, 1962. That's the day I was born. For the next 13 years, my father was my higher power. I had 13 years continuous sobriety. My father was my higher power, and he ruled the roost, with an iron fist. He was one of us also. He's passed away now. He didn't get sober in the rooms of AA. He got sober in church, and for that I'm grateful, and I'll get a little bit of that later on into the story. But about 13 years old, I found alcohol. I hated the taste of it, like most of us did to begin with. Took a little sip, went to school the next day, told my buddies that I drunk a half a pint of liquor the night before. Started out lying right out the gate. Don't know why I had to do that. I think that it just goes hand in hand with the program. But my home group is the Norwood group. We meet on Kendall Street in Norwood on Monday nights at 8 p.m. If you're up that way, drop in to see it. We'd love to have you. It's a small group, but we're serious about recovery. But there's one thing I'd just like to touch on before I get started here. And this comes from a vision from you. It said the less people tolerated us, the more we withdrew from society, from life itself. As we became subjects to King Alcohol, shivering denizens of his mad realm. The chilling vapor as the loneliness settled down, it thickened, ever becoming blacker. Some of us sought out sordid places, hoping to find understanding, companionship, and approval. Momentarily we did, then would come oblivion and the awful awakening to face the hideous four horsemen. Unhappy drinkers are terror, bewilderment, frustration, despair. Unhappy drinkers who read this page will understand. And then on the next page, he cannot picture life without alcohol. Someday he'll be unable to imagine life either with alcohol or without it. He will know the loneliness such as few do. He will be at the jumping off place. He will wish for the end. That's where I was when I came through the doors of Alcoholics Anonymous. Suicidal thoughts. But my sobriety date this time around, and I've had continuous sobriety since then also, is June the 1st of 1996. I did not come to AA because I had a problem with alcohol. I came to AA because I had a problem with the bank wanting their money for the house payments. I had a problem. The wife had left. I'm 2 months behind on the house payment. I'm going through a divorce. I'm fighting for custody of children. But other than that, my life was good. That's how insane it was when, if y'all would have fixed those four things for me, I'd be dead today. And I'm grateful for that. The old timer said, let's just focus on stopping drinking. Said the rest of that stuff will work itself out. Well, I figured if I got picked up a white chip on Monday night, I figured as special as I am, I figured by Friday afternoon, y'all would have all those things fixed for me. And I'd be good to go then until I run off the road and crashed again, because that's what was going to take place. But like I said, when I was born into a loving family, I had three older brothers. My mother was church going. My father ran a service station. Growing up in the 60s, he ran a service station that was full service station, open from 7 in the morning to 9 at night. He was away from home a lot. And a lot of times when he came home after being drunk, we was glad that he was away from home as much as he was, but he didn't realize what it was about the disease of alcoholism, and my mama would have qualified for Al-Anon. Good Lord, she loved him, and she tolerated it, and she lied about it, she covered it, and he was mean when he got drunk. I mean, he was, they say that spared a rod and spoiled a child. Well, I promise you this, we didn't get spoiled. He knew where the rod was, whatever we was cutting up. There's only 6.5 years difference between us four boys. But when I was born, I was out of place. Everybody in the family had black hair. My mother and father talked about wanting a little girl. They had 3 little boys. She had rheumatic fever when she was about 17, and some of you older people know what that is. It's a bad condition on your heart. They told her she don't need to have no more children. She said, Doc, we want a little girl. 13 months difference between me and my next older brother. Everybody in the family is black-headed, and I come out red-headed. Milkman's boy, got picked on in school. Been wearing glasses since I was 4.5 years old. In the 60s, they weren't these designer frames like they have out now. These look like prison glasses, I guess you could say. And they may have come from there, I don't know. But, did well in school, and I know part of it was because I wasn't sure what the life was going to be like at home of the evening. I got most of my homework done before it was time to get on the bus and go home. Didn't know what time Daddy was going to come home. Didn't know if he might be come home driving a new car, come home, knock the damn windows out, throw the supper across the kitchen. You just never knew. It was exciting, let's just say it like that. My older brother graduated high school. He got married. Next older brother, he graduated. He got married. The next one, I had to throw this out there because he was in the 10th grade when I was in the 9th grade. He was in the 10th grade when I was in the 10th grade. And he was in the 10th grade when I was in the 11th grade. So he finally quit school. And that didn't do nothing to hurt my ego when I caught him and passed him. And but like I said, made good grades in school. I was in the High Honor Society. If any of y'all out here think you're too smart for this disease to get you, hold on. It don't care where you come from, what you look like, how much you got or how much you ain't got. It will finish the job. It will kill you. And that's what the old timer told me. They said, boy, if you don't stop what you're doing, you're going to die. I thought, y'all don't even know who I am. They said, we don't give a damn who you are. I said, we know what you are. And some of the people who've been in these rooms a few 24 hours know that it's getting watered down. And if we don't get the message back, the seriousness about this deadly disease, we ain't going to have no predecessor to take the place. It ain't a migraine headache. It ain't a bad check. It's a disease that wants me dead because it settles me being miserable. But to move on up a little bit, my father quit drinking 6 months before I graduated high school. For the next 30 days, me and my mother both had to move in with my grandparents because if you've never been around a dry drunk, stay as far away from them as you can. They can't do anything wrong, and you can't do anything right. It's just as simple as you can put it. But after about 30 days, I think the vibrating stopped, and we were able to move back home. I was the last child living at home. I'm already full-blown into alcoholism at 17 years old. I mean, I'm dealing drugs. I know this is AA, but this is part of my story. And I'm dealing drugs and was getting away with it good until my daddy quit drinking and things started to change then. He started becoming a little more aware of his surroundings, I guess you could word it like that. But after we moved back home, I had gotten me a job. I had left the business that he was running and got a job at one of the local mills because I had some car payments. And he called me in the living room one Sunday morning. This is about 6 months before I graduated high school. And he called me to come in there. He said he wanted to talk to me. And this is probably one of the first times that I've really been honest with my father because the way he was, when you done something wrong, you had to lie like hell because if it didn't, you was fixing to get some bruises and going to be some damage done. He had anger issues also, and people tell me I've had some of those, but I've tried to work on them today. So hereditary, maybe it's choice, I don't know. But he told me he wanted to come in the living room, he wanted to talk to me a minute. And this is Sunday morning before we getting ready to go to church now. Because when he quit drinking, we're going to church every Sunday morning. We're going on Wednesday night. I mean, we flipping the lid, and that's the way it's going to be. Everything else is done. Well, it wasn't for me. But he said he wanted to talk to me, and I had a tear come down across my cheek. And I looked at him. I said, Dad, it's kind of hard to talk to somebody you really don't know. And I was serious about that at the time. But like I said, he was the father, and it still brings a tear to my eye today. But we never had the father-son bond. He had it with the older, my older two brothers, they had it because the disease hadn't gotten quite as bad, but in the final days of it, it was awful. I mean, he was abusive to my mother, verbally and physically. He's lucky that she didn't kill him. And I told him that one time after I got sober, we were having a conversation and we were being open about some things, and I told him, I said, you're lucky Mama didn't kill you when you were doing it. He looked at me, he said, you're telling the truth. He realized that she had passed away. But he said the rules had changed. Before I could go out every night of the week, Mama didn't say a word about it. As long as I keep my grades up, I'm on the road 7 days a week after getting off work. He said, you can go stay home 3 nights a week. He said, it can be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm like, well, we can mark Friday, Saturday, Sunday off the staying home list because we know that ain't going to take place because that's when the party's going on. But we bulldozed through it, and like I said, I'm already doing what I'm doing, dealing what I'm dealing. I got the side business going on, and I mean, I had connections in 4 different counties. I mean, I thought I was the man. Going to school every day and had a 79 Trans Am, and I thought I was somebody special. But after you drive a car that's got a lot of horsepower and you get several tickets, you tend to lose your license for those things. So I lost my license 30 days before I graduated high school. I walked the summer of my graduation with the car sitting in the yard, me riding a bicycle to the friend's house 3 or 4 miles away to party. That's how serious this disease was. But the night I graduated, I walked across the stage and I got an empty folder. There wasn't no diploma in it because I'd missed too many days in my English class. I had to go back the next morning for 2 hours. All the rest of my buddies gone to Myrtle Beach for graduation. We graduated on June the 4th, which the anniversary was yesterday. I don't think I told you my sobriety date, did I? Get my notes straight now here. My sobriety date is June the 1st of 1996. I might have said that, but like I said, I didn't plan on being here that long. I figured we'd get this thing figured out. But I got my license back, and life's going along good. We used to go down here to the Rockingham drag race on the weekends, and I mean, we go down sometimes on Friday. We wouldn't come home until Sunday. We partied. We'd hardly ever went inside the track. We went down for the fun. There was fighting going on, and I mean, it wasn't quite like it is today where there was no shooting going on, but there was probably guns in the crowd, I'm sure of that. But never had been that interested in the girls because of the home life that we had. It just didn't seem like it was going to go over well. Plus, I'd seen my buddies in school get their hearts broke, and they just mope around for days because the girl broke her, or dumped them, and all that shit didn't look too enticing to me. I was more interested in getting high, making money, and having fun and raising hell. That's what it was about. But I met this young lady down there that her parents had split up, and her daddy drank a lot with mine, and her mama had moved out. She didn't even know where her mother was at, and we got to talking and started going out, and if that's what you want to call it. But she moved in with me when she was 15 years old. I got me a little mobile home. I got to get away from my mom and daddy's house because I didn't like the rules that they had, and plus it was interfering with my freedom of doing the other things that I was doing. So I moved into that little mobile home. She moved in with me at 15. She's driving my car to school. Chief of police lived right down the driveway we lived on at the end of the road. I didn't care about that. I'm selling drugs out of that trailer. I'm working every day, and I'm doing. I'm not crippled by the disease yet. I'm still functioning good. Partied all hours. Get up next morning, wash your face, spray some deodorant on, roll, get going. Got to go. It's about making money. Money was my higher power there for several years. And I'm not going to lie to you, I made some money at it. Made some money at it. But as they say, all good things come to an end. And we'd got the opportunity to buy us a little house right outside of Norwood there, and we moved in it in spring of 1985, I think it was. I'm still running hard as ever. I mean, I'm selling whatever it is. If it'll change your mind or mood, altering substances, buddy, I can get it for you, and we could get it in quantities. We didn't get a little Ziploc bag full. We would get the trash bags full or whatever the white stuff. It didn't make no difference. Moonshine, anything. But this one friend of mine from Madison County came one Tuesday afternoon and had 2 girls with him. I didn't know nothing. I just trusted him. I went and picked up 3 pounds of marijuana. A week later, he got killed. Come to find out, one of the ladies with him was an undercover agent. So here I am, sweating, sitting on the edge of my seat. I done got my defense ready for the courtroom, and I ain't even charged with nothing yet. So I sat on the edge of my seat for 6 months. First day of January of 86, I said, well, I'm in the clear. Went and bought me a 4-wheel drive truck. 3 days later, they come serve the warrant on me for selling, delivered the marijuana, and went to jail and made the bond, and then it was 14 months later before I ever went before the judge. because I done had the story worked out. It was all the other man's doing. I ain't no snitch, I ain't no narc, ain't never been. But I don't think I can be accused of that, putting the blame off on the dead man. I don't believe there's no repercussions for doing something like that. But he was my only defense. The judge didn't want to hear one damn word about it. So when it was all said and done, they sentenced me to 2 years felony time. Okay, this was on a Tuesday. My father was at the courthouse with me. I told my mom I didn't want her to be in the courtroom with me. The lady that was living with me, I told her I didn't want her to be there. It was me and my dad and the lawyer. And I'm working with my father at the time, and he asked the judge if I could have 2 weeks' time to tie up the loose ends on the routes that I was running for the company. The judge agreed to it if he would sign a $15,000 bond. So I come home on Tuesday, and I tell the lady that we get married a week from Saturday. That was my proposal, because I'm fitting to go to prison, and if you get work release, you need transportation, somebody that that's connected to the family. It can't be your girlfriend. She can't pick up at the prison camp, but your wife can. So we get married on Saturday, February the 14th, Monday morning, 8 o'clock, I turn myself into the Stanley County Sheriff's Department, start my prison time. Sent to Salisbury, and life's going good. I'm on work release. I'm getting high every morning from the time I leave the camp, coming to Norwood, and getting high on the way back up the road, and I'd be back to 6:30 that evening. I mean, life was good. What's a few months in jail? Well, I was out there on the yard one day, and they had a little paper on the bulletin board that said when you get within 90 days of 270 days of your release date on felony charge, if it's not gun related, you're eligible for early parole. Well, when they start the sentence, they cut it in half, so I wasn't working on but 1 year. So I walked in the program's office and asked the lady. She said, "Yeah, you qualify for it," because I'm about 3 weeks away from having that 90 days under my belt. She said, "You qualify for it." The next day, that paper was gone. And what I'm sharing with you is God was doing for me back then when I couldn't see it. I thought it was all me. Look how lucky I am, man. The other ones that didn't ask for it didn't get it. Ain't their business to publicize it and tell you. They put it on the board. That's all they're responsible for. So I qualified for it. I got out in May. I'm right back to doing the same thing I'm doing. Ain't changed nothing other than, how we say, I wasn't selling to so-and-so. I wasn't doing this. I was going to be smarter. We like 8 days being married 1 year when our first child was born. And I think if you do the math, according to the 284-day gestation period, I think the child was conceived while I was incarcerated. But that's okay too. My first daughter was born, buddy. I'm on top of the world now. I am going to be father of the year. We still living in that brick house that we had bought. For the first 30 days, that child actually came home from the hospital. She was born on Monday, came home on Tuesday. That young'un ain't going out of the house, and ain't nobody coming over picking up my young'un, bruising it, exposing it with no sickness or anything like that. I am Mr. Protective. I don't know where that come from. The wife would be home while I was at work. When I got off work, she needed to go somewhere. I would stay there with the child. Now, I mean, this is about like Jesus being born in my eyes. This is special. So things is getting pretty rough because her disease is probably taking off about like mine was. She's getting a little older, and she's not liking the fact that I'm gone, the hours that I'm gone. I'm paying the bills, cars in my name, houses in my name, money's in the bank. What's wrong with this picture? How come you ain't happy with the way I'm doing? We split up. We get back together. We were just doing things, and it was bad. August of '91, we had a second daughter. Okay, she's sitting right back there now. She's earned her seat in these rooms, and I don't know if she did it by watching me getting sober or what she heard about me when I was doing what I was doing. I'm not sure which one it is, but I'm grateful that she's here today. Things are still going along. I mean, it's bad. I mean, her diseases, and I'm not taking her inventory. I'm just telling you the truth. When you got a partner at home that can drink and do as much of the other stuff as you can do, sooner or later it's going to get unbearable for both parties, and that's what had happened. I mean, we'd split up, get back together. It was fights, jails. I mean, it was awful. But I didn't know there was a way out because I wasn't ready for a way out. It's the best way I can word that. But in 1995, she left for what would wind up being the last time. I'm the children's father. I mean, I've advanced to crack cocaine by then. If any of y'all been here to experience with any of that, get off of it quick as you can, because it'll take every penny you can beg, borrow, or steal. But I'm grateful for it today, because that's what eventually brought me to my knees. She left for what will be the last time, but I am still Father of the Year, so these kids are going to stay in the same house that they were living in when you left, and I didn't break any laws. It was, I'm getting off of work, I'm getting high, 2 daughters at home, 3 and 7 years old. I'm not doing a very good job being a father. I'm trying, I want to be, I want y'all to think I am, but I'm not. There's some things that I was doing. I mean, I might leave my house at 2 o'clock in the morning and leave both of them there at home in the bed, going to the dope house. Those are some things that I'm glad that God watched over them and took care of them, because I wasn't able to at the time. But sometime about the middle of May in '96, it's coming to a close as the, you hear the speaker say in church and whatnot, this is coming to, and it was coming to a head. I'm down to 155 pounds. I'm walking by the mirror in the bathroom, and I mean, skin just sunk in. Right now I weigh 205, so we've grown in recovery. But I look in the mirror, and I mean, I'm hating myself, but I don't know what to do. I can't stand it. I'm having to consume more to kill the feelings, because I hate me so bad. I'd run out of what I'm doing 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd look over the gun cabinet, and and there's an option there. That don't sound like a good one. God will flash a picture of those 2 children in front of me and let me know that that that's not the way this is going to end. And I'm grateful for that today. I was coming out of the cafe one day in Norwood, a friend of mine that I'd known family for years, and he was coming out of the cafe, and he asked me, well, let me back up just a minute. And in May, I reached out for some help on a Saturday morning, because I've been up all night. And listen close, I've been up all night partying, but I'm reaching out for help because I'm on the verge of losing my job if I don't go to work that morning. So what better time to make a decision to try to get in treatment is when everything is against you and the brick wall's about to tumble. I went down to Lancaster Recovery Center, checked myself in on Saturday, had Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance. They told me Monday morning I was going to have to go home, so my insurance wasn't going to cover me being there. I'm like, well, what the hell? I mean, is this the way the program's supposed to be? Y'all told me do this, do that, so and so, and I said, well, I guess I'll just go home and finish the damn job then. So I went home, and it was about another week and a half, I guess it was. A fellow was coming out of the cafe one day. He asked me if I wanted to go to a AA meeting with him that night. He had heard I'd been to the treatment center. And I'm trying to get into the cafe because I ain't had nothing to eat since probably the day before, and I'm about 24 hours, and I need some gas in my tank besides that high octane. I told him I'd pick him up and take him to a meeting. I'm doing a good deed. He ain't got no driver's license. I got driver's license. I got an old ragged truck. Man, I felt so good about going to that meeting that night and taking him home. I went by the dope house to reward myself for taking a friend of mine to an AA meeting. Mine wasn't working too good. But by the grace of God, the next Monday night I went back to the meeting. I picked up a white chip, and I have not had a desire to pick up anything with all of the stuff that's going on since June the 1st of 1996. I got to tell you this in case you have a scenario like it. Been sober about 3 months, and me and the wife, we weren't divorced yet. I'm going to let her move back in with us. Okay, I'm coming home from work. She's still drinking. I don't know about y'all, but when you get to drinking and you're upset with someone, you really don't like them, what do you usually do? Take their inventory, cuss them out, talk this. That's all I heard when I'd come in from work. And I'm getting off work, get a bath, going to a meeting. She's there with the kids, but she's pouring that juice in. Well, one Monday morning, I'm about 3 months sober. She gets up, drops the kids off down at my parents' house. I go to work. 10 o'clock that morning, I get a call from the sheriff's department, half a mile from the house. She's wrecked the car that she had gotten out of Equitable Distribution. We'd had that settled. I got the house in Lincoln. She'd wrecked the car about 10 or 10:30 that morning, drunk with the boyfriend in the car. I'm 3 months sober, folks. I don't know about y'all, but I ain't got no tool to handle these things. We were still legally married. I went to the sheriff's department. I signed her bond. I carried her to the house. I got her clothes, put them in the trunk of the car, carried them to the fellow's end of the driveway, 100 yards from the end of his driveway, threw them out on the side of the road and said, don't look back. I knew if I didn't move her out of that house, I was going to kill her. So if you're thinking that getting sober and getting back in a relationship is going to be a good idea, remember what I just said. It may not be what you want it to be. But then again, you might like the rest of whoever wants to do that, you're going to find out the hard way. So them people in AA don't know nothing. 7 months sober, I wound up, I got full custody of both of those daughters. Most frightening day of my life. I've been in some hellacious places, folks. I've been shot at. I've had guns pulled on me. I've been beat. And most frightening day when I walked out of the courtroom and stood there in the lobby, and it dawned on me what I had just signed up for. I was going to court to get custody of them out of spite and anger. I'm going to punish you. Judge, give them to me. What the hell am I going to do now? I don't know about raising young'uns. I'm a damn alcoholic, a drug addict, a hard worker, and all those other things. We survived. I don't know who raised who. I don't know if they raised me or if I raised them. But we survived. Life is going. My brother that was in and out of these rooms since 1986, he never did surrender. 2003, there was a car got swept off the road, 4 people in it. 3 of them had been in and out of the rooms, and then my 8-year-old nephew. That was tough. That took the wind out of my mother. Now I'm telling you, she you lose a son and a grandson at the same time. I don't know what kind of emotional pain you feel, but she had a spiritual life. She got through it. I'll share another thing with you. When I think I was just picked up my 2nd year ship in June, and it was October that year. We was my father had a little trailer in that Garden City, and me and the kids would go down on my birthday weekend, because when it was my birthday weekend, I was drinking. Mama wasn't there, so we'd go out and he'd pay for the alcohol for me. It was my birthday, because he didn't know how bad things were. But we didn't get no alcohol that weekend. But my mama was down there. We went down for my birthday weekend. We got a call about 11:30 that night. I had an uncle who lived in Greensboro, been in the room. He was 14 years sober. He quit going to meetings for 2 years. He got depressed. He wasn't married and had no kids. He got lonely. He got depressed, and the emotions got him, and he blows his damn brains out. That was an eye opener for me. It don't matter how bad it gets. There's an option. Either trust God or take the other way. And I'm not going to lie to you, tell you that I haven't been that depressed in recovery. But as you can see, God didn't allow that to happen either. Things is going along. My oldest daughter gets ready to graduate in 2006. She graduates in June. 1st of July, our place of business burnt. No insurance. About a $500,000 loss. And I'm getting ready to send a daughter to college, that I'd made her the deal that you go to college, you make the grades, when you graduate you won't owe a penny. That's part of Daddy's amends. Our financial world got turned upside down. This happened it burned on a Saturday. We just closed for vacation week. So our vacation was the following week. Dump truck, backhoes, hauling off stuff, trying to get ready to try to rebuild. We come in that Monday morning about 8 o'clock. My brother's standing there, and like I said, he ain't got much of a spiritual life, and they just sitting there with the lip poked in or doing. I said, look, folks, I said, ain't nothing else to do. Roll our sleeves up and get to work. I said, this is a mess. I said, yeah, but we can't sit here and cry and sit on the curb and want everybody to feel sorry for us. I said, let's get this thing cleaned up. 4 months' time, we had that business rebuilt, back up and running. With some help of some loans from the bank. Let me word it like that. It wasn't that we were debt free, but my older brother, he had never had any payments since he took over the business. My father retired in '83. He'd never had any payments since he'd been there. It was always, I always called him the golden child, but he decided in 2008 that he wanted to sell out his part of the business. May the 1st of '08, I walked out of the bank between buying his part out, between what I owed personal. I'm $500,000 in debt. Some of y'all remember what happened to the economy in the fall of 2008. It went to hell. I get up in the morning, fear overwhelming. Think somebody nailed my shoe to the floor. My God, I got to get up and go to work, but I can't get my feet to move. And I carried that burden for about 15 months. I'm going to fix it. I got to figure it out. I mean, I'm going to meetings. I'm just crazy as hell. I finally got up one morning, threw my hands up. I said, God, I can't carry this no more. I said, if it's meant to be, we'll make it. I said, if not, I'll get me a job, close the doors. And I said, I won't be mad at you. Because by that time, I had like 13 employees. And you get up on Monday morning and you worry about whether you're going to have payroll for all of those to feed their families. But I was trying to carry the burden alone. And I couldn't do it. So I gave it to God, and it took him about, 6-8 months before he found out whether I was sincere. Because you can talk to God, you can lie to God, you can get away with it, but God ain't gonna bless what we're doing wrong. I promise you that. He knew I was sincere, and I had to let go of that. I couldn't carry it any longer. My mother passed away in 2009. That was a tough time. Met the lady that I'm married to now, and I'm not going to say anything about her being born in a little town outside of Buffalo, New York, and I've been raised in the South all my life, and God's got a sense of humor, so I'm married to a Yankee today. We started dating and met her in December of 2010. Well, in November of 2011, I had an accident on the farm where the tractor fell off a bucket with a chainsaw in my hand, shattered my wrist, and got a plate and 5 screws or 9 screws in it now. I think she got me on some medication while I was injured, but she had told me, she said she would invest in 12 months in a relationship, and it wasn't serious about getting married. She's gone hitting the door. Well, that accident that I had, it gave me about an extra 60 days. Let me work like that. You know how slick we can get. So I proposed to her. She agreed to marry me, and she was sober when she agreed to it, I think. But we were going to get married in April. Well, after my mother passed away, my father come by the store one morning, and he had on a sport coat and kind of dressed up. And I asked him, I said, "Where are you going, to a funeral?" He looked at me. He said, "Something like that." Well, him and the lady that he had been talking to for about a month or so, they went to the courthouse and got married. Well, here I was. That made me mad because me and Stacy were planning on getting married, and it was going to be our time. Well, he took that little bit of glamour, he took it away from him. I had to laugh about it. I had to let go of it. That was 2012. He came to a meeting in Albemarle when I picked up my 16-year medallion, the only meeting that either parent ever came to see me pick up a medallion. And he passed away that November. Had an accident on the way to church. I ain't gonna say he shouldn't have been driving. Hell, he drove worse than that through the years, but he ran off the road, jerked it back, overcorrected, and had an airlift into the hospital, but he never made it home from the hospital. He turned 79 in the hospital. Life is still real, folks, just because you put the bottle down or put whatever down. But I have to remember today that a drink won't fix it. I still have emotions today. I won't go into detail, but last Tuesday night I get the law called on me at the damn meeting in Albemarle. I'm sitting out on the doorstep waiting on them to get there, and there's 5 of them come down the road, and it was hilarious. But and I'm just going to say it like this: that the other fellow involved was lucky that it didn't get no worse than what it did. But it was all my responsibility to allow him to interfere with my peace and serenity, and I mean I let him take every damn drop of it. But I try to make a lot of meetings today. I love the campouts that we have. My daughter back there, about 4 years ago, she's running the roads and she's qualifying, and I mean it's hurting bad. Me and the wife been married 2 years, and she was about to leave me because, I don't know, folks, I've never been through that. This was a new experience to have a daughter that's out there running the streets and doing the things that we do. And I'm not in Al-Anon, so I can't say that I was enabling. That's why Al-Anon tells you when you get there that if you got a loved one doing it and you're trying to help them, you're enabling them. Well, I was breaking every rule that they was because I thought I could fix her. And she was working for me at the time, and I got to tell on her now because she's sober today, and we have a great relationship. When she found out I was aware of what was going on and some different things, I gave her two options. You can go to treatment or you can look for a job. She wasn't done yet, so she took the second option to go look for a job. She didn't need treatment at that time because she didn't have a problem. But we have a 8-year-old granddaughter now, and we got one back there that's just a couple of months old. And I have a life today, folks, that money can't buy. I live in the same house today that my mother and father raised us boys in. It's just, if you'd have told me 25 years ago that I'm going to go through all the things that I've been through, stay sober, and be as happy as I am today, most of the time, I still got emotions and feelings and wants and demands and expectations. I'm still human. All those things haven't gone. But if I look at the steps of this fellowship, no matter what the situation is that's going on, there's a solution. The one in the book where it says pause when agitated. I'm from the old school. We punch when agitated. Anger is the dubious luxury for normal folks. Anger is an option for me whenever something's going on that, I'm not trying to be controlling, but I got a wife that I love. I got 2 daughters, a stepdaughter, 2 stepsons. I got 2 grandchildren, and my dog. Put him on the list. There's some things that it would be better to just leave alone. I'm not warning, I'm not threatening, I'm just sharing. And I hope you all feel the exact same way if you got loved one. Those 2 little granddaughters, I would surrender my life for them to have one. And God knows that that's the truth. If he needs one more upstairs to get the numbers balanced out, take me, because I've had the opportunity to live the best of both worlds. Do I still think about taking a drink? I used to make the old timers mad when I get there. I say, you tell me you don't never think about taking a drink, but you tell me to ask God to help you stay sober in the morning. What am I asking him to help me stay sober from? Old timers look at me and said, and one guy got me to speak at prison camp, and when he introduced me, he said, I know when Reggie got here, he said, I figured he wasn't no way in hell he's going to stay sober. He said, he talked too damn much. First time I spoke was in Bisco. The 2 guys that went with me to speak that night, both of them are dead now. We get about a half a mile from the meeting in Bisco. Both of them had been in and out. One of them might have had 60 days. One of them might have had a year at a time. I don't remember. But one of them asked me, said, are you nervous? I said, no. I said, because I've been a salesman most of my life and going into places, new businesses and different things. I said, no. He said, well, my sponsor told me if you wasn't nervous, you wasn't working a good program. My ego kicked in. I come by that close and saying, well, which one of us has got the most damn sobriety? But I stopped and just kept my mouth shut because y'all told me that all I got today. And then I hear people, had one the other week, and he didn't know what was going on. He said, if you got up before I did, you've been sober longer than I have. I said, your sobriety don't start at midnight. I said, you don't get credit for the hours that you're asleep. People look at you like, you're just trying to confuse things now. I said, do I have to minus all those sleeping hours from the number of days that I've been sober to figure out how long I've been sober now? But I've been the alternate DCM in my area or in the district, chaired meetings, getting involved in service work. I have a key in my pocket. Some of y'all remember Mr. Gaddis. He died with 49 years of sobriety. Well, he had seen the changes in me, and I used to pick at him because he got sober in 1959. I wasn't born in 62. I said, Gaddis, I never did get to drink with you. I said, hell, you got sober before I was born. But he thought enough of me, and he's seen the changes in my life that he asked me to take his position on the Alcohol Association, the board in Albemarle. I've got the key in my pocket that he gave me to the building up there. I'll loan it to you, but you can't have it. That key's got some monumental value to it. There's just so many other things that I could tell you. The opportunity we had last year to go up to the little cabin that God blessed us with up in the mountains, and we had a blast. And if you decide to come back to another retreat with us, you got to bring your own foghorn. Now we've We've discovered that those things can be very annoying, but we have a great time on those retreats. Y'all know Mark, he spoke for me last night down at the hut because I had asked him to come up and speak for my anniversary. And he was telling me that I had asked him to speak at Mar Mountain one year at one of our retreats. He said, man, I ain't never spoke before y'all. He said, do you think I'm going to tell y'all folks, y'all strangers, my life story? And I won't say all the words of what he said, but I'd heard his story and I've seen a lot of changes in his lifetime. And like I shared with him last night when they gave me my chip, I told him, I said, this ain't my chip. I said, this is our chip. We done this. I didn't. And I tell him, and I'm going to say this, and we might get out a few minutes early tonight, but I'm grateful for the one that was here when I got here. I'm grateful for the one that came in after I got here and let me know that it's not any better out there. I'm grateful for the one that came in after I did, got a little sobriety, went back out and made it back. And there was one sitting there last night that we had a special meeting there. He used to rent a house from me. Well, he had about 15 months sobriety. He jumped time. It took him 12 years to get back to the rooms. They moved out of the house. They didn't pay all the rent. I mean, they left on bad terms. 2.5 years ago, he calls me to ask him would I take him to detox. And I did. We hadn't mentioned anything about that, but the program says I got to forgive. I'm grateful that he didn't die while he was out there. There's a lot of other things that I could share with you that, the Lord's Prayer is mighty powerful if you break it down and read and understand what it means. Some days, God don't forgive me for nothing because I'm unwilling to forgive. I'm holding on to it. I'm mad. I'm upset. You pissed me, so-and-so. You can't make me mad unless I give you permission. And if I'm spiritually fit, walking hand in hand with God, there's still things going to come up. And I was at a meeting a couple weeks ago, and it was just chaotic as could be. And I was sharing the meeting. I told him, I said, we're reading 12 and 12. I said, okay, we're going to read for 30 minutes. I said, we're going to discuss for 30 minutes. I said, then we're going to bitch for 30 minutes. We'll all go get drunk. I mean, that's what their attitude, that's what they were going to. But, sometimes we have to pause and ask ourselves, why am I here? Is it because I wanted to be, because I need to be, or is it because of God's grace that He spared us? Every one of us should have been dead many, many times over. And it's a freedom today to get to go to AA meetings. It's a freedom today to be responsible and try to work with newcomers because I didn't care anything about you people when I got here. Y'all were boring. I told them, I said, some of y'all was in y'all's 50s. Y'all look like damn antiques to me. Hell, I'm 58 now. 75 ain't looking bad. But if you're a newcomer in here tonight, you got just a few days, get up with some of the people in the room and start hanging out with them. Don't isolate. If you don't have a driver's license, somebody will give you a ride. If you call over 3 and they don't give you a ride, call me. I'll give you one, or I'll call them and raise hell with them so they go give you one. But that's what we have to do today. We have to keep these doors open. We have to keep this fellowship going because I don't know who's coming in the door next. I don't know if it's going to be one of my brothers. I don't know if it's going to be somebody that I like or I don't like. I had one in the meeting the other night that there was some conflict years ago. We'd done a lot of drinking together. He comes in the doors and he's in bad shape. He's homeless. He's on disability. But the next morning he's going to Myrtle Beach and he's going to get him a job in a motel and he's going to straighten his life out. I didn't preach to him about nothing. I left the meeting. I carried him to where he wanted me to put him out at. He had his duffel bag. That's what he wanted. He wasn't asking about recovery. He just knew that I was going to be at that meeting and that I'd buy him a pack of cigarettes. So maybe the seed to get planted. And you've heard this before from me. I didn't get sober so you'd like me. I got sober so I'll like me. If you like me, that's a bonus. If you don't like me, it ain't no damn disease that'll kill me. That's what I got to remember in these rooms. We need each other, and then we learn to love each other. And if anybody in the room pisses you off at a meeting, sit down beside them at the next meeting, because they one of the few to care enough about you to tell you the truth. But I live 15 miles from the meeting in Albemarle. I'd leave the meetings early on. I'd be so damn mad. I mean, I ain't never going back. Before I'd get home, I couldn't wait till the next night so I could go back. So what you think's good for you today, hang on to it. If you don't think it's good for you, ask somebody to help you get rid of it. That's all we got to do. It says, trust God, clean house, help others. Love all y'all folks. Thank you for asking me.